Hey everybody, welcome back to James Draws Everything. I am James, and this is the series on my channel of drawing every single country in the world's flag. And we are in the home stretch here, and today we're going to be going into the former Yugoslavia, right? It's in the Balkans here. Used to be kind of part of Yugoslavia, kind of part of Serbia. We're doing the country of Montenegro. All right, so and then if you can see already here, kind of on my this is like the new kids on the block sort of row, right? I said Eritrea, that's a fairly new country. That was in the 1990s when that gained independence. Timor-Leste was when did that gain independence? Like 2002, the first one of the new millennium. And then I said there were no other new countries in the new millennium until South Sudan, which we already did. And that gained independence in 2011. And yeah, I received a lot of hate mail, even death threats. Oh my God! And they told me, James, you know what? You forgot Montenegro. I'm like, I did? And they're like, yes, that's they became a country in 2006. You forgot all about those guys. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. So I figured before I let this simmer over, right? I better do the Montenegro flag, right? Because they are also a fairly new country. And I guess me and my ignorance, I just kind of figured a collapse of Yugoslavia. You know, they all gained independence 1991-ish, 2-ish. But nope, this one was a lot later. So I do apologize. Wait, actually, no, that was... Again, my research assistants, it was their fault, right? I did not intend to leave out Montenegro, so blame my research assistants, right? All the good stuff on this channel, that's me. Anything I do wrong, or anything they do wrong, anything that's incorrect is their fault, and they will be fired. So Montenegro, everybody. Again, fairly new country. A lot of ties to Serbia. The name, Montenegro, kind of one of those cool names too, just sort of rolls off the tongue. Means black mountain. And as you can imagine, sort of being one of these former Yugoslav countries. And I'm drawing it right under another one, right up here, Bosnia and Herzegovina. Montenegro has a pretty complex past, right? So a lot of different cooks in the kitchen in this part of the world. Speaking of cooks in the kitchen, this place is where prosciutto originates from. So that thinly sliced ham, if you like that stuff. So shout out to Montenegro for that. 13th century is kind of where the name starts. It was kind of like a highland in the Serbian province of Zeta. And then, of course, the Ottomans invade in 1496. And the Ottomans were, not buddies with the Orthodox Christian people in the region, but this wasn't like a total dictatorship or like theocracy or anything like that. The Ottoman Empire did kind of work. All right, so they did allow a lot of autonomy to a lot of these regions, and this kingdom of Montenegro was allowed to still be like a semi-autonomous Christian, Orthodox Christian kind of principality within the Ottoman Empire, right? So it wasn't like when you hear about this stuff now, it's like, oh, they were horribly oppressed and this and that. No, that's not really the case. So it does have a really cool flag too. I gotta say, I like this one. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to get on here, and I'm already seeing some issues here with trying to scale this down a little bit, but yeah, this flag is almost like kind of like a James Draws Everything greatest hits album, right? It's got all my favorites on here, but we'll get to that because I got to get my proportions down first before I sort of get into the details here. Yeah, because it's a pretty complicated flag actually. For usually you think newer countries, they kind of have what I like to call like the Nintendo flags, right? Like all the countries in the Caribbean, except for the ones that have, kind of more, kind of keeping up like their ancestral ties. But yeah, they they look like they were designed in like Microsoft Paint, and then you got the Napoleonic flags of the 19th century, which of course is not recent. To me it is, right? Because those flags I think those are boring too. But yeah, this one is like the Europe of old, kind of. So anyways, we got to just lay out sort of what we want here, and then back to the history, James. Stay on topic. So yeah, again, they were a theocracy, right? So religious rule, a series of bishops, Orthodox bishops, ruled it until 1852, where it became secular. And they fought a series of wars with the Ottomans, right? And they won recognition as a sovereign principality in 1878, right? And of course, there's a little bit of Serbian like sort of support there, and then also Russian, right? Because Serbia is kind of like, they've always kind of been like the little brother of Russia, right? So the Russians were always sympathetic to the Orthodox people in that part of the world, and the same thing goes. The same thing is true on the other side, right? So a big kind of factor in the collapse of the Ottoman Empire, sort of, is the fact that like Britain, France, and all these other kind of sort of Christian powers were sympathetic towards the peoples in that region that were sort of under Ottoman rule, like especially in this part of the world. Yeah, so it's a messy story. I'm reading a pretty good book on that right now, by a guy named Sean McMeekin. It's called Ottoman Endgame, and he talks about that, how that kind of because the Ottoman Empire was always in the orbit of Europe, right, but not really European, and yeah, so they always kind of attracted outside powers just based on like sort of religious alliance and whatnot. But yeah, back to Montenegro. Yeah, because they're Orthodox, they're always going to be friendly with Serbia and Russia, and that kind of carries over into the modern day. After World War One, somebody had the bright idea, or not so bright idea, to create a kingdom of Serbs, Croats, and Slovenes, right? So Pan-Slavism, kind of, it's like Beatlemania or the Spice Girls or something. It just it took over. It was a fever that just took over the heart of the Balkans, right? And they formed a unified Balkan state. A lot of problems, though, of course, right off the bat with this place. They don't exactly get along. Just, again, sort of a lot of cooks in the kitchen, a lot of different peoples there. So Yugoslavia, almost from the beginning, I talked about this, in this episode right here that I'm pointing to, Bosnia and Herzegovina. Yeah, they're just... they're all Slavic people, but they're all very, very different kind of religious backgrounds and all that. So, yeah, some call that a melting pot. Here at James Draws Everything, we call it a tinderbox. Right? I think that's a more accurate description. So this place is kind of forced to stay together, though, right? Because at the end of World War II, Montenegro joins the Socialist Federal Republic of Yugoslavia, right? So Yugoslavia is kind of forced to stay together by a Warsaw Pact, right? So, everything west of basically Germany is pretty much handed over to the Soviet Union, which always is kind of weird in retrospect when you hear like the popular story about World War II and why it was fought for democracy and all this BS, and leave all these places at the mercy of kind of one of the most barbaric regimes in human history. So anyways, they exist within that Socialist Republic of Yugoslavia. Tito, you got to bring him up, right? Because he was kind of like the dictator of Yugoslavia at that point. And he did kind of keep things working there for a while, right? So Tito dies in the early 80s. And that kind of leads to, kind of like the beginning of Yugoslavia falling apart, and then, kind of leading into the problems of the 1990s with this place. And again, Montenegro, they were allied with Serbia, so that was going to be kind of a bit of an issue, right? Because Serbia was kind of friendly with Russia still, even though Russia, they weren't the Soviet Union anymore, but they were still kind of on the bad guy list as far as the Western world, right? So when Yugoslavia collapses, right, Serbia returns to being like an independent state. Montenegro, though, is part of it, and it's kind of where my confusion was earlier when I said that I already did all the 21st century independent states, and yeah, I forgot about this place, so sorry guys, sorry Montenegro. And after like the 1990s, there is still sort of a Yugoslavia, right? So Montenegro and Serbia have a Federal Republic of Yugoslavia, so that is sort of loosely tied together until like 2000, like the early 2000s. I think it was like 2003, where they kind of became like a sovereign union. No longer calling themselves Yugoslavia. It was like a union of Serbia and Montenegro. And then a couple years later, 2006, Montenegro votes to restore their independence, and they became an EU candidate in 2010. They joined NATO in 2017. So kind of smooth sailing into independence, after that. So Montenegro, kind of a lesser known European country. It's not a very big place. A lot of kind of geographical disparities too. Like you got like very, very rugged country, mountains and countryside, and then you got like gorgeous beaches on the Adriatic here. So is a pretty cool place in that regard. Serbia was kind of on the bad guy list of the international community right after the events of the 1990s. Montenegro, though, sort of even though they were kind of part of Serbia, they sort of get spared that because they weren't really like an independent country at that point. So just kind of one of those things. And yeah, this again, I sort of alluded to this before, how this is like on the James Draws Everything Greatest Hits album of awesome flags. It's got everything I like on it, and holy crap, it is very complicated, and I'm trying to concentrate here and do my best. Yeah, it's got you can kind of see it's got the BIRB. Right, I love the BIRB, and it's got something inside the BIRB too, and we'll have to get to that in a minute. Yeah, always got to be kind of careful when I'm doing something in yellow, right? Because yellow, very light color, gets sort of swallowed up easier by darker ones. And this is not like a blood red, right? This is a much more sort of maroon color. So I'll try not to lose the detail that we got here with the yellow. Alright, so yeah, again guys, this would be something like this flag, you would print it at a much higher resolution than what I'm doing here, but again, sort of micro drawing. Got to pick and choose your details, right? So only accentuate the important stuff, because if you try to do everything, you're gonna kind of make everything muddy and get it all swallowed up, and it won't be legible. So that's why I like kind of doing this stuff, because it does sort of make you think, right? As an artiste. Critics of mine, right, they might just say, you're doing this because you're lazy, and that's a that's a pretty good interlude, because this country actually has a lazy Olympics, right? So they have they have actual events to see how lazy people can be, which that's pretty interesting, right? I don't know how long can you sit on the couch? How long can you? I know some Americans would probably love to do that, compete in those lazy Olympics. But yeah, I guess it's kind of just a chill place, right? One of those tiny European states you don't hear too much about. They have economically rebounded quite a bit, right, since the communist Yugoslavia days, doing the best they can to integrate themselves into European trade agreements and all the good stuff that comes with being a first world power. And yeah, I gotta do even some more details here, because yeah, this thing's got a lot going on in this flag. So I'm gonna get that red back out again, because we got like a little crown. In here, and then, oh boy, alright, so that's this is a darker blue inside this one. You almost got like the, you're not going to see it at this scale, but you got like, remember when I did the Sri Lanka episode, you sort of had that lion, kind of with what looked like a sword. So that's sort of incorporated into this flag too. Kind of reminds me of the Sri Lankan flag a little bit. And then because it's sort of like a darker yellow, I just want to very lightly go over it with kind of like an orange here. So I don't have a marker that really sort of between this yellow and this orange, so we'll do the best we can to sort of blend these together. Get that lion in there. And then the painful part, I'm going to have to get the, let's see, where's my 0.1 graphic pen here, and we'll do our details. All right, so we got kind of like a coat of arms in the middle of the BIRB. It's got like a lion with a sword on it, or a lion holding a sword, sort of on a green field with a blue sky in the background. And you got the tail of the BIRB. And I don't know what this is. It's like he's holding like a bauble or something, right? It's got like a crystal ball or something like that with a cross on the top. We'll get to that though when we talk about what the flag means. Then on the other hand, well, he's got like a scepter or something. I'm guessing that kind of maybe goes back to the Orthodox days. It's got a cross on it. And then we'll just do the feathers. Alright, and then the two-headed BIRB, kind of sticking its tongue out as well. And sticking its neck out from behind that coat of arms. And it's got little jewels or something on the bottom of this crown here. And sort of that top there. Alright. Whew, yeah, that was a difficult one. I thought Turkmenistan was hard. This one definitely pretty hard to draw at that size, but what does the flag mean? So it's kind of got like a frame around it. That's the Montenegrin coat of arms in the center. So giant double-headed golden eagle, right? Giant BIRB, symbolizing the unity of church and state. And then it has a crown on top of the two-headed BIRB. The eagle is holding a golden scepter in its right claw and a blue orb in its left. This is like something out of like an 80s video game. And then the breast shield over the eagle shows a golden lion on a green field in front of a blue sky. The lion is a symbol of episcopal authority and harkens back to the 3.5 centuries when Montenegro was ruled as an Orthodox theocracy. So you got a lot going on here, right? That's a pretty busy flag. It is cool though, right? So you got two-headed BIRB holding a scepter and an orb, right? So holding an orb, right? Can't think of too many other flags that are like that, right? We have Albania has the two-headed BIRB. Sri Lanka has the lion with the sword, but yeah, this one just takes it a step further, right? It's a neat flag. I like this one a lot. So that is Montenegro, right? The Black Mountain. So that's the Black Mountain. That's the two-headed BIRB. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next episode.